player, midfielder. He'll be a driving force for this physical, energetic Ecuador team. You know, he's had a great season so far for Brighton, already linked with top teams like Chelsea and Manchester United. He is going to be important for Ecuador.
Ecuador, remember, the third youngest team at this tournament, behind only Ghana and the United States. Can they spoil the Qatari party by taking care of the host? Kickoff about 12 minutes away.
Good morning, America! All across the country, we're getting up early this year. Whether you're repping La Cultura, your team is out for the count,
2026 estaremos de vuelta.
Por supuesto.
or you need the world to know this is our year. Because the beautiful game
Belongs to all of us.
Get Google Pixel 7 or Pixel 7 Pro for free with qualifying trade-in.
The holidays were lonely for the Yeti, but after saving big with early Black Friday at Amazon, Yeti became more social.
Io delle donne non mi fido, il corteggiamento.
Shop legendary deals at Amazon.
Hey, you! Can we come together? Hey, you!
New Balance, we got now.
Gillette presents the Gillette Labs with Exfoliating Bar, a razor designed to take the hassle out of your routine with effortless shaving and one efficient stroke. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris that gets in the way of the blades, so nothing gets between you and a quick and easy shave. All with a lifetime warranty. Gillette, the best a man can get.
I want you to know that we will get your baby back.
No matter where you go, I'll find you.
Wireless family plans save you money, but then you have to deal with family. So I got Visible. Get unlimited data for as low as $30 a month. No family needed.
Is the turkey done yet?
Visible. Switch this holiday and get up to $250.
For pain to the max, try BC Max in great tasting lemonade.
Automate proposals and speed up your deals with PandaDoc.
Our $10 gourmet meal deal gives you one of these craveable burgers, bottomless fries, and a bottomless drink. That's right, we went all out so you can all go out. Hurry in.
Red Robin. Yum.
That's a goal for Ecuador. What a goal that is.
Walk it out like
A terrific strike. What a fine finish that is. Shot and a goal.
Live aerial look of Al Bayt Stadium. Temperatures currently right around the mid-70s. It has been a delightful day turned into night here in Doha as we take a look about 21 miles north of our set here in downtown Doha as we get closer and closer to lighting this candle, as we like to say. Qatar and Ecuador, two teams, as you see the president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, speaking right now, and it's two teams that don't have a whole lot of World Cup experience. Let's listen in to the FIFA president.
Al Bayt. Mabruk. Queridos amigos, bienvenidos a Qatar, bienvenidos al Mundial bienvenidos a su casa. Dear friends, welcome to the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. Welcome to celebrate football, because football unites the world. And now, let's welcome the teams and let the show begin. All the best to everyone. Mabruk, Elf Mabruk.
Nice tee. We take you live inside the tunnel, Al Bayt Stadium, Ecuador, and the host nation, Qatar, set to kick this off. All three of you have been in World Cup tunnels, but Lex, you're the only one who's been in the tunnel of a home host country. What is going through the hearts and the minds of these men right now?
It's obviously a pressure, but if you can spin it to an opportunity and recognize what is on offer here, the opportunity to change the perception of you as a player, of your team, of your country, of your region. Yes, what happens on the field. And it's a wonderful responsibility.
Your Highnesses, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, please rise if you are able for the playing of the national anthem of Ecuador.
أصحاب السمو والمعالي السيدات والسادة، برجاء الوقوف للنشيد الوطني لدولة الإكوادور.
Please remain standing for the playing of the national anthem of Qatar.
برجاء مواصلة الوقوف للنشيد الوطني لدولة قطر.
Qatar manager Felix Sanchez said this is an extraordinary day like no other, and we're glad you could experience it with us. John Strong, Stu Holton with the call in 60 seconds.
New customers get our best deals on all smartphones.
That's right.
But what if I'm already a customer?
Oh, no problem. Hey, Cam.
Same deal.
Yeah, it's kind of our thing.
Oh, it's a great deal. What if I'm new to AT&T?
Cam, can...
Oh, nice.
Hey, but what about for existing customers?
Same deal.
Is he okay?
It's not complicated. With AT&T, new and existing customers get our best deals on every smartphone.
Hello from the other side of the world. Moments from kickoff at Al Bayt Stadium in the northern Qatari city of Al-Khar. The opening match of the FIFA World Cup between the...
Right here, and they have a lot of experience in the back with Al-Sheeb in the net. They play a 5-3-2. At times, it's just a two-man game up top between Afif and Almoez Ali. Boudieff holding it down in the middle of the field as that pivot, number 6, and he looks to spread the ball and spring those two up front. On the other side, for Ecuador, some inexperience, but they have experience in the back with Galindez. He is a 35-year-old, but this is only his 13th cap. Questions coming in whether he would be the starter or it would be Dominguez. They go with him. Hincapié as well. Caicedo, you heard Eni Aluko talking about him. Dexter Mendez, the LAFC man, getting the start in the middle of the field, and then they have some goal firepower up front between Estrada and Valencia.
Felix Sanchez left his native Barcelona to come to Qatar 16 years ago. He's coached a lot of these players since they were kids. He's talked about this being an important historical moment for the country. Gustavo Alfaro on the other side was hired a month before qualifying began 2 years ago. He said they've been prepping for 12 years, Ecuador. We had 3 days to get ready for this game. And this is the 22nd edition of the World Championship of the World's Game. It is the first to take place in an Arab nation. It is the first to begin in November. This will be a month like no other in the sports history. And we could not be more privileged to be here as part of a phenomenal Fox Sports team to bring it to you. And a lovely evening here in the north of Qatar in a 60,000 capacity jam-packed stadium. The final seconds will count down in what has been a 4.5-year wait. The 2022 FIFA World Cup and the opening match between Qatar and Ecuador is underway. The players were so eager they outfoxed the stadium countdown. And Qatar immediately on the attack with that ball over the top. It is Qatar known as Al Anabi. The maroon in the dark red. It is Ecuador La Tri. And the colors of their nation's flag, yellow with trims of blue and red. And the opening foul of the World Cup is suffered by Pedro Miguel. Fouled by Paris Estupiñán. This is a Qatar team, as we talked about. They've been preparing for this day in, day out for years, to the point that none of these players actually played in the Qatari League this fall. They have been in full prep mode for this game right here against an Ecuador side back at the World Cup after missing out in Russia. But they qualified ahead of Colombia, Chile, and Peru, teams that are above them in FIFA's world rankings. Qatar expected to do well as the host, but Ecuador don't often lose. They don't often concede goals. They are a tough nut to crack. And so is the starting point, Stu. What's this thing going to look like?
Fast, hectic. We've seen that already. The ball is zipping around on this field. Qatar straight off the kickoff dumped the ball right up against the back line of Ecuador, trying to play for the second ball. You're seeing this man right here, Akram Afif, on the ball in the central. Oh, crunching tackle there.
Sebas Mendez of LAFC.
Did I mention physical?
And a huge collision there. And Daniel Orsato, meanwhile, our referee has got to keep some sort of a lid on this thing in the opening 90 seconds.
Well, with the early indications, good luck. He's going to be using that whistle a lot. Crunching tackle initially from Sebas Mendez, and then Caicedo gets hit by Pedro Miguel, who came inside. Talented player, this guy. He's one to watch in this tournament. Has been fantastic in the Premier League for Brighton. Two-way midfielder, a guy that can play the last pass, can also be a part of the build-up for Ecuador as well, and also has a goal in him. One thing to watch with Ecuador, they are dangerous on set pieces. Scored a number of goals in set pieces in World Cup qualifying in CONMEBOL, and the delivery comes in from Estupinian with that left foot, and they're lining this one up like they're going to hit it towards the back post potentially, and then look to head it across it. Valencia is hanging out in the middle right now.
Estupinian will sweep it in. Goalkeeper comes. It's popped in the air. Al-Sheep is lost in space. The ball's bobbling around. The overhead kick of the opening goal. Enter Valencia, Ecuador's all-time leading scorer, has put the visitors in front inside of 3 minutes.
Oh, it's a set piece from about 30 yards out. Estupinian dumping it to the back post. Al-Sheep comes a long way there, and the trajectory of the ball was one that was really low. I'm surprised he decided to come. He ultimately gets there late. The ball pops up in the air. It's recycled in the end with an overhead kick straight to Enter Valencia, and boy, he's not going to miss from there. That type of experience, that type of quality in front of goal, and talking about he was hanging out behind the back line waiting for the second ball, keeps himself on side. They try to drop behind, and he heads it home from about 4 yards out, stunning the crowd here, other than the Ecuadorians behind the goal going absolutely nuts.
You see Hassan Al-Heddos, the captain of Qatar, trying to get his team to react well. And we are having a check right now. Massimiliano Irati of Italy is our video assistant referee. He was the VAR of the final and the opening match at the last World Cup 4 years ago. But Enter Valencia, as it stands, his 36th goal for Ecuador. More than any other player in his nation's history. And it is offside. And the goal will not count.
Oh, that is a huge let-off for Qatar, and more specifically Al-Sheep, the goalkeeper.
Dr. Joe Macknick, our rules analyst, having a look with us. Dr. Joe, what do you see?
Well, when the goalkeeper comes off the line like this, now you're looking at which two players are going to keep the player on side. And on that initial pass, the head to the player who scores the goal, he's ahead of one of the players, and there's only one player defending. So it's a very strange offside decision, but one that happens when the goalkeeper comes off the line like that.
And one that is assisted by semi-automated offside. That's one of the new things we have here at the World Cup. So that is dozens of cameras around the perimeter of the stadium that is tracking various points on each player's body. So that is able to be scientifically, precisely measured to the very finest margin, and very quickly as well, relatively speaking.
I'm going to have to say, I've got to take another look at that one, because
so you're saying the computers are wrong?
That is a very fine margin. I'm getting looks to our right, John, by the way, from Ecuadorian TV. Say, hey, what did you see there? We'll bet on technology, and this is the first time we've seen it at this tournament in this capacity. But what a huge call, and again, a huge let-off for Qatar. Nervy moment there defensively on a set piece.
How does that affect the teams? I mean, this was a fist fight to start. You have Ecuador thinking they've scored. The air has gone out of the balloon for Qatar. What happens now?
Well, maybe the game will slow down for a few minutes. But look, these players, the adrenaline is pumping. The crowd is really into this game as well. And we're going to start to see now in the next couple of minutes how this game is going to take shape tactically.
Here's Estupinian, who started that sequence with the free kick, knocked away by Bassam Al-Rawi. Preciado nods it forward, met first by Muriaf. Second effort there, falling to ground from Holam Ahmed. Estupinian again lifting it forward. Valencia trying to get there, knocks it down to a great area. There's no one there in yellow, and it's cleared out by Ahmed.
That's a part of the game Qatar are going to have to be careful. Ecuador have two strikers that are willing to run in behind, and what that does with those long direct passes forces you to drop, but then also have to deal with second balls incredibly well. That time it's knocked down into a dangerous area. Fortunately for Qatar, it goes to one of their fellow teammates and not a yellow shirt, because they look to squeeze the game with a couple players running underneath their strikers.
Hello, Preciado. Long throw in, too long for Valencia. Santos Mendez of LAFC holds it in. Preciado resets the cross. Ibarra. Now Estupinian. Mario Ibarra, formerly at Minnesota United and MLS, and he's got that big cast on his right arm. Mendez looking long for the run of Michael Estrada. Al-Sheeb electing to punch there, so he's looked a little bit shaky. There's been a goalkeeper battle in recent years for Qatar. Al-Sheeb getting the start in this game, and he's looked shaky twice early as that skips past the captain Alheiros. Maybe all of Qatar looking shaky. Estupinian knocked away by Al-Rawi. Resets for Valencia out wide. He's fouled. Free kick coming for, as you mentioned, the top scoring team in South American qualifying from set pieces.
And that's why you have to be careful making fouls at this point of the field. And just dives in there. Enter Valencia skipping past him. It's going to be Estupinian again with the left foot of his. And if I am an Ecuadorian, I'm Estupinian right now, I'm sticking it right on top of Al-Sheeb again. Low and hard. Look at that big gap right now between the one-man wall with Al-Haidous and then between all the rest of the players. Right around that 6-yard box, between there and the penalty spot, because now he's hesitating. He's questioning whether he's going to come for it and crash in front of the box.
Estupinian didn't cause too much chaos at that one. Looked like there might have been a chance for a break there for Qatar, but it's won back by Preciado. Back from Ecuador again. Good late recovery, though, by Abdel Karim Hassan. One of their all-time leaders in appearances to tackle that out.
Well, this guy plays 100% all the time. Abdel Karim Hassan, cannon of a left foot, but defensively did a good job there against one of the trickiest players on the field in Plata, 1-against-1, who's going to continue to take him on. That's a battle to watch.
Preciado, another long throw. Estrada trying to flick. That will be a corner for Ecuador. Willem Kuki, who got the clearing header away. And great look at the setup there, right in front of Saad Al-Sheeb. Fabiano Santo just holding the corner for a moment as the players jostle for position. Gonzalo Plata to take. Santo, the referee, really being proactive here. Caicedo's going to battle in there with Al-Rawi.
He's even coming for one more. Caicedo's job in this moment, what he's trying to do for his team, is just to obstruct the goalkeeper Al-Sheeb and get in the way by not fouling an opponent.
Plata drives it right on top of the goal. It's sent away by Kuki. Well, we thought we had the fastest goal in the opening match of a FIFA World Cup. Enner Valencia thought he had his 36th career goal in the 3rd minute. But semi-automated offside, taking it away after a VAR check. Offside in the build-up, and it didn't count. Qatar is trying to get a foothold right now. That's what Qatar needed.
Yeah, they did, because they've been under a lot of pressure. Now they play a style in which it absorbs a lot of pressure. Now this is going back to the offside call, so we're going to get a good look at where it actually was. Oh my goodness.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
And again, this is scientific precision here.
And what I would say is that is a call that you would not have seen whistled before this technology. No chance. And that's why I said on that first replay, I was still struggling to see exactly what part of his body was deemed offside. So there you go. I mean, a leg which in real time was behind 4 or 5 different bodies. No way that an assistant referee normally spots that one and gives an offside.
Do you like it, or is that beside the point?
I like the right call being made.
You can answer later.
No, I like the right call being made, ultimately. So that's the right call.
Valencia looked offside there as that flicked header came.
But the neutral part of me would have loved a goal.
Ahmed again, they're just trying to get Akrama for Almoez Ali on the ball at all right now. Qatar, Michael Estrada with options. Valencia running in. Hesitation from Al-Sheeb. The follow-up saved off the line, but it's a penalty. Penalty for Ecuador. Saad Al-Sheeb, the goalkeeper, he hesitated. He takes down Valencia. He gets a yellow card. And now Ecuador a chance for the penalty spot to take the lead after all.
Oh, what a great counterattack from Ecuador by picking up the ball defensively in quick transitions right up the gut. And this was Qatar finally having some possession. And in order to have possession, they spread the field, they turn it over, and then it's a little slip pass in behind for Valencia. I thought he might have taken this one first time. Instead, he gets Al-Sheeb to commit, and a clear grab of the right leg there. Goes to the ground. The referee played advantage, allowed the shot to then come off. It wasn't a goal, and then brings it back for the whistle. Penalty kick, and it's going to be Enner Valencia a chance to get on the goal sheet after the last one being chalked off by VAR, and we might now get the opening goal.
Penalty takers struggled 4 years ago at the last World Cup. 75% conversion. That's lower than average. And can Al-Sheeb atone for his struggling start? Can Enner Valencia get goal 36 of his career after all? Nervous looks from the Qatari fans. For that matter, from the Ecuadorian fans. Valencia scores!
Well, it was Enner Valencia who created the penalty with his running off the ball, and then the awareness to take that touch and go down, drawing the foul from Al-Sheeb, and then steps up. How about that? Calm, cool, open up the hips, pass it into the corner. 1-0 Ecuador, just staring down the barrel at Al-Sheeb, gets him to commit, go to his right, and then he slots it the other way. And this has been a great start to the game from Ecuador. They've dominated from the first minute. Just pinned back Qatar, pressure had been building, they had the momentum, and then they found the piece of quality to go ahead in this game. And now it's going to be on Qatar, who are going to have to open the game up here a bit. They need to have control of the ball, some possession, just haven't been able to find a way into the game at all.
Hassan looking long for Pedro Miguel, knocked back inside. Miguel a second time, playing a two-man game. Miguel cuts around the defender there, Caicedo. And it's going to come back for an offside in that sequence anyway, as it ran out for a goal kick. This is extreme, I grant you. Do you think about pulling him right now? No. He's struggling on balls in the air. He's on a yellow card.
It's crazy we're having this conversation right at this point of the game, but you're right. I mean, there was question marks about who was going to be the goalkeeper coming into this game. This is an experienced goalkeeper, though. This is his 85th cap for his country in his biggest moment of his life. And what I would say is you've seen a goalie from the first minute. I talked about it. That first thing that you do as a player, the pass, the touch, or it's a keeper getting that first touch on the ball, it sets the tone for the game. He came out shaky on a cross, and then the rest of the game, he's just been in the back of his head, second-guessing everything that he's doing, hesitating, and it's not been a great day for him so far. So I wouldn't think about yanking him at this point, but certainly, depending on how the rest of this game goes, I'd be surprised to potentially see him in the second game.
Good step by Budiev, but he couldn't steer it towards a teammate. Michael Estrada, who earlier this year was on loan with DC United in MLS, he wins a foul. And enter Valencia, one of only 3 players on the roster who were at the last World Cup that Ecuador played in. In 2014, he scored all 3 of their goals in Brazil. Estupiñán running in, he's going to cut it into the middle, and it's over the top. It's a huge collision. The ball is going to be whistled for offside in that sequence, but concern right now with 2 men down.
Well, it's a great run, and the timing, that's close too. And look, Qatar, look how deep Qatar are. They just can't get pressure on the ball right now, and Ecuador have so much freedom just to run inside, move off the ball. As this one stands up, Estrada just lays out for that one, full-blown in the air, and takes a piece out of Al Sheep. Just needed about 2 more inches on that vertical, and he's heading that one in the back of the net, 2-0. Certainly not a foul on Al Sheep, because he's blind, turning around, turns into Michael Estrada.
Well, Estrada, he was the slower of the 2 to get back to his feet there as Felix Sanchez looks on nervously.
Yeah, he's got a lot to think about right now, and it seems strange to me, having watched this Qatari team for the past couple of years now, and just how disciplined and organized they are defensively, knowing their roles, that they just seem...
Another giveaway. Estrada out wide for Plata, cuts it in, and a late recovery there by Homam Ahmed. Acrobatics to keep it in play there from Preciado. Doesn't come to anything, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah, it just feels like the moment feels so big for them right now, and that's what you're seeing. Guys just making decisions that they wouldn't normally make in positions that they're not normally in. It's not like Ecuador are doing anything unlike what they normally do in the way in which they build up. It's very much what you would have expected from that side. They just can't. Look at that. I mean, that throw-in's a perfect example of that. Ahmed just throws it straight to an Ecuadorian from a Qatari throw.
And it was interesting that Danilo Sarto went to a stop play to give the yellow card. Almo Azali, second all-time leading scorer in Qatar's history, barely had a touch of the ball, takes a chunk out of Enter Valencia. And that's the second Qatari player to be shown yellow in the first quarter of this match. Again, the very dangerous Ecuador have created lots of chaos from set pieces, scored 8 goals, about a third of their total, and World Cup qualifying from dead balls. Moving across, Estrada up for it. Hassan got the header. Alhedos out jump, tries to recover. Ahmed sliding through, can't get rid of it. Preciado will lift in the cross, too far for Valencia. Estrada knocks it down. Pedro Miguel was there. He gets it clear. We got a full slate of matches tomorrow across our network, starting with England against Iran on FS1 at 7 a.m. Eastern. Then on Fox, Senegal versus Netherlands, other game here in Group A. And the United States back at the World Cup, taking on Wales. Coverage starts 7 a.m. Eastern, 4 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. My goodness, are we excited for the U.S. to take on Wales tomorrow night, live on Fox. Estrada miscontrols that out. Shoot, they're under pressure, and he sort of scuffed at it. Works in the end. Akram Afif beaten to it. Flying header from Preciado.
I'd say that's the other thing I'm noticing in terms of the differences between the two teams in this game. Just the physicality, the explosiveness of Ecuador versus Qatar. Winning second balls, winning first balls, physically getting stuck into tackles, setting the tone of this game early and smothering once again there. And Almoez Ali is going to get a foul, but the way in which they're getting around the ball so quickly, winning it back, not allowing Qatar to have any time on space in the ball, and it's resulting in that type of pressure that they don't have good quality passes and aren't able to maintain any type of possession in the game.
Willem Cookie, the center back, carrying forward, intercepted as he tried to play for Akram Afif, and Rawi and Hassan able to recover there and prevent the jailbreak the other way for Ecuador. There's Akram Afif. Alhedos, the captain. Pedro Miguel. Odiaf opens it up on the far side for Ahmed. Wins the header. Hatem battling there with Plata. And that ball took a funny hop, and it was misjudged by Hassan. It was good work.
Lovely little drop of the shoulder from Preciado. Qatar meant to bite for the foul.
As you see, Ecuador, the third youngest roster at this World Cup. Just behind or in front of, depending on how you wanted to find it, Ghana and the United States. And it's a funny irony that part of what pushes them higher is two of their goalkeepers are 35 years of age, including Hernan Galindez, who has really had not much of anything to do on the other side of the field through 25 minutes. Plata trying to replay for Preciado. Good step there by Torres. As Afif thought he might be off and running. Plata, nutmeg inside. Valencia was waiting for it. Budayev made the tackle, keeps it in play. It's a throw out of it. He's trying to get his team going. Get in! And this is a part of a long process. Felix Sanchez, when he came to Qatar, he was coaching at the Aspire Academy. That's the incredible youth academy they have on the outskirts of town. There's a core of players here he's been coaching since they were kids. They were at a U20 World Cup together. They won the Asian Cup a couple of years ago. Again, they've been in camp most of this year, playing games against national teams, club teams, you name it. This has been building for a very long time as part of a very specific process. This group of starters, it's the same guys that we saw last year at the Gold Cup and the FIFA Arab Cup.
It's very different to what you see around the world, where players will play with their clubs and then they play with the national team. The way this team has been built over those years, then even more specifically this last year, it's a national team as a club team. They train together, they play together, they rehab together, they travel the world together, spending months and months on the road. All why? Because this is their debut at a World Cup, and it's their opportunity to be on that stage. And it just feels, through 27 minutes, all of that build-up and everything that came with it, the pressure, that they're feeling some of that right now. And they have some talented players, They're not as talented as Ecuador, so there's a level of quality difference as well, but they just seem a little shell-shocked still at this point of the game. They need a string of play, a string of passes to get some confidence and get into this game.
Sebas Mendez there getting the start because Carlos Gruezo, the former FC Dallas player, came off hurt last weekend in his final game, and it's funny that Mendez didn't play much for LAFC down the stretch of the season behind Jose Cifuentes. And it's Mendez that gets the start here in the World Cup opener. There he is again. Long it goes for Valencia and Estrada. Good header won by Kuki. Knocked down, held in, and then blasted over the bar there. Couldn't hit the target.
So you can see what Ecuador are doing well there. Just maintaining possession, dropping a midfielder between the center backs, drawing Qatar out a little bit, waiting to until they squeeze up the field, and then it's a long direct pass over the top looking for the second ball.
Almost Ali, Pedro Miquel, fouled by Caicedo, who gets a yellow.
This time it's Caicedo who's just a step late there on Pedro Miguel and picks up a yellow card, which could become an important one now thinking about this group for Ecuador, and that picking up a second yellow card, he would miss a game. And that is a very important player for them in the middle of the field.
I mean, they got to get him through this game first.
Yes,
he was second
indeed,
most fouls committed of any player in South American qualifying. Just turned 21 a couple of weeks ago. One of two players, along with Estupiñán, on the field for Ecuador, play for Brighton in the English Premier League. As that breaks down, Hatem couldn't lay that off wide for Ahmed.
You forget that it's the 30th minute. So much has happened in the early stages of this game.
Valencia going to sneak in again. Hassan sort of misjudging the bounce of the ball, able to recover at least for a moment. And a misplayed pass is out. About a half an hour gone in the opening match of the World Cup. And it has been all Ecuador. They thought they'd scored in the 3rd minute. Chalked off on a very narrow but scientifically accurate offside decision via semi-automated offside and video assistant refereeing. They got the goal after all. In the 16th minute, enter Valencia, hauled down by the goalkeeper Saad Al-Sheb. He has struggled early on. Valencia rolled it in casually. And you see just the huge discrepancy in numbers. 58% of the possession in favor of Ecuador. That's not a foul. Urief goes down. Caicedo runs on. Kind of roll that one in for the run of Plata. Recovers himself out wide. Preciado sends in the cross. Esprada, and it's Valencia! Eder Valencia has now scored 5 consecutive World Cup goals for Ecuador, and La Tri are running away with this one right now.
Once again, this goal comes off a turnover for Qatar in the middle of the field, and then it's a quick transition the other way. But in this moment here, Qatar have numbers back defensively. Everybody's standing and waiting, and I think he's kept on by the guy at the top of the screen, which is Ahmed, as he's late to step out. Enter Valencia drifts away to the back post, so good in the air, rises up and gets it and nods it home. But he has a lot to do here. Terrific header over the head of Estrada, so he still has to focus and just wait for that one to come in. And my, oh my, just glances it off the head perfectly into the corner, past the outstretched arms of Al-Sheeb. And that goal is confirmed. It is onside from Valencia just, and it is 2-0 Ecuador.
Abdelkarim Hassan lifting this one across. Pedro Miguel waiting for it off the bounce, helped along by Ibarra. Budiaf. Akram Afif. Abdelkarim Hassan, he'll shoot from here. He does, and that one's up into the 15th, 20th row.
Well, what a guy to rely on. Experienced. Played at some big clubs over in Europe as well, and just lives for the big moments. That one, the same. He has a lot of time to think about as the ball comes in from Preciado on the right-hand side, and Qatar, as the second ball drops back, they don't squeeze their line together. And that left just that little pocket. One player was a little bit deep, late in stepping out, and allowed a free Enner Valencia. That's not the man you want to leave free in the box. Just lethal. He gets his second of the game.
Pedro Miguel just catching Michael Estrada. Remember that collision he had with the goalkeeper earlier. No card shown yet by Daniela Orsato, the referee.
And they must be thinking right now, too, Qatar, here we go again. Another set piece. Let's drop off. Ecuador have the ball again. Getting late. It's been the story of the game, though. Just a step late on everything throughout the field. Second balls, first balls, tackles, passes. Just struggled to get up to the speed of the game and the energy which Ecuador have played with. I mean, they might try something different here, too, John. Yeah, or go back to the well again, which is what they're going to do.
Stupinian knocked into the middle. Valencia waiting for it. Clearance comes wide for Plata. Alhedo's just trying to hit the eject button somewhere near Akram Afif, and well settled by Preciado. Preciado had Valencia running up the channel, comes inside for Estrada. Kuki rises up to win the header. Is controlled, but falls kindly to Alhedos. Hassan under pressure. Al-Sheeb got across in time to prevent gifting a corner. Afif felt the contact, went down, no foul. Stupinian able to keep it. Alhedos frustrated, and he's a little bit slow to get up as well. Listen, to your point about Enner Valencia, not the guy you want, not just because he's Ecuador's all-time leading scorer. This guy just turned 33. He's been on fire this season. 13 goals in 12 league games playing for Fenerbahce in Turkey. That leads the Turkish Super League. Incidentally, second in the Turkish league in goals. Haji Wright of the United States. As that's going to be a yellow card. Karim Budiaf, third Qatari player, shown yellow in the first half, and it's Valencia who's down.
And it speaks to a couple of things. The frustration of this Qatari team. Why? Because you can't get a hold of the ball. You can't get a touch on the ball. So then defensively, you're chasing around the field. You're trying to get close to the opposing players. And that time, he's late again. A step late. Makes a foul. Now you've got another important player for a Qatari team in the middle of the field. And Budiaf, who's on a yellow card. He's tasked often in that deep-lying midfielder role to cover space, but also to get out and close the ball down. And now he's on a yellow. They'll be hoping for the halftime whistle at this point.
Valencia helped to his feet. Listen, it's one of the beautiful things about a World Cup. There are few other contexts in which the nations and the peoples of Qatar and Ecuador would be in the same building like this. When you think about the last 4 years, we had a pandemic. We were shut down. We were sent home. We were separated from one another. It's kind of fun, even just walking around the mall yesterday. See people from all sorts of different nations and nationalities and languages.
I met my first American fan today, and they are excited for that game tomorrow.
We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Against Wales, yep. There's American fans talking to English fans and Welsh fans and all the way down the line. As we've been saying all week, John, just let that first ball be kicked, because...
Stupinian, right to Al-Sheeb, got that one.
This tournament is well and truly underway and not going the way that the host nation, Qatar, would have hoped.
And yes, the reminder, the U.S. facing Wales, the opening World Cup match for them tomorrow on Fox. Coverage starting at 1 Eastern in the afternoon, 10 a.m. Pacific, from Ahmad bin Ali Stadium, the westernmost stadium in the suburb of Al Rayyan here in Qatar. Pedro Miguel given the space there, elected not to serve it in, and then he's shut down.
Look out, space there. Oh, Ibarra chose not to play it to Valencia, who made a terrific run. Now another one from Plata.
Threat of that pass through multiple Qataris. Open up now. Valencia sitting on a hat trick, beaten to it by Al-Rawi. And then he's fouled. About 6 minutes here for Qatar to do something to try to get themselves going into the second half. It's an Ecuador team that has not conceded a goal in any of their last 6 matches. That is an all-time team record. Run for attempt to get on the end of that one. Couldn't turn the corner, couldn't keep his feet. Getting chirped at right now by Preciado. It's out for a goal kick. We've learned anything our last couple of days. This is a deeply proud nation of people. And there was a real sense of national expectation for this game. For that matter, Hassan Al-Haydos, the captain, talking about the pressure of really representing the Arab world in this first Arab World Cup. Trying to put on a performance that would make him proud. Akram Afif. Space on the outside. Al-Haydos running through the center.
Oh, terrific from Sebas Mendes. Wow, what a recovery there to get back again. So he's won it back, though.
Afif, Al-Haydos popped up on him, though. Brought down by Hatem. Couldn't turn the corner there with Al-Haydos, but at least something positive for Qatar.
Well, it was, and it came off a turnover, and for the first time we've seen Ecuador open for a moment in the back, and then Mendes makes a 20-yard run back to just poke it off the toe of Afif as we get another look at the 2 goals. First, the penalty. This ball in from Preciado is just a beauty, and Kuki had gotten drawn inside there. Same with Bassam Al-Rawi, and just Enter Valencia heading that one home.
Well, there were 2 hat tricks in the last World Cup, including, it wasn't the opening day of the tournament, it was the second day of the tournament down in Sochi that Cristiano Ronaldo put on the show against Spain. Harry Kane had one as well. Enter Valencia right now, through 41.5 minutes, is the first star of this World Cup. Riyad pressured by Valencia. He goes down awkwardly behind the play. Hatem for Ahmed. Poked away by Preciado. Valencia is still down.
And he's got his hand up for the trainer, too. His right leg just got tangled up as he's trying to make the tackle. Look, just extends his right leg in there and Takes the contact on the leg from Budiev.
Well, it's his nation's fans going crazy right now as their all-time leading score is down. The Qataris trying to respond on the other side. But the stretcher's coming out. Valencia, as we said, scored all 3 goals for them at their last World Cup appearance 8 years ago, has both of their goals today. Taking his total to 37 goals in 75 appearances, most of any player on this roster. Hearing his name chanted out to him by his nation's fans here in Alcor. Gustavo Alfaro actually was at the last 4 World Cups as an analyst for Colombian television, a journeyman coach throughout his career until he sort of stumbled into this Ecuador job 2 years ago. Now he's got to manage this. Valencia is on the side right now. Ecuador playing with 10. Minute and change before the half. Should see a fair bit of stoppage time because of the long review on the would-be opening goal as Valencia's waved back out. Pedro Miguel kept it in play off the first touch. Estupiñán steps in. Estrada just trying to hold it up right now. Back heels off Alrawi. Valencia still does not look 100%.
But I'm wondering if he's also just trying to get through it, get to halftime, reevaluate. And whether that means you're a bit of a passenger for the next couple of minutes, whatever stoppage ends up being added as well. And then they see that's also a position, though, for Ecuador. They don't have a lot of depth. They've got depth at winger. They've got depth in the middle of the field. This is a very good team. 2 good fullbacks as well. But that type of player with that type of presence and that goal-scoring ability, that's irreplaceable for a team like Ecuador. So they'll want to make sure that they give him every chance. But if it's something that's maybe we need to rest him and we're up 2-0 at halftime and we're thinking about the next game, you're not at that point yet. But that's potentially what you're thinking if you're Alfaro.
You hear the shout there from Hamam Ahmed as he goes down. Qatar trying to catch Ecuador out by playing quickly. We've got 5 added minutes here at the end of the first half because of the injury stoppages and the video review. So a long ways for Valencia to sort of limp through, and both coaches can assess things at the break. Ecuador, like Qatar, will get an extra day before their next game. Each of these teams will play on Friday. Senegal and the Netherlands, the other 2 teams in this group, they play tomorrow. There's Akram Afif, nowhere to go.
In this part of the field, that's not where you want your best player, Akram Afif, touching the ball. Talk so much about the 2-man game between him and Almoez Ali. Akram Afif currently is playing as a right center back, just to get a touch on the ball. Here he's again. Ecuador quite fine with that. You play a 5-yard pass, it goes back. You play a 5-yard pass, it goes back. At some point, with possession like this, you've got to push him up the field, which is making his way up the field now to try to pick up the spots behind that midfield of Ecuador where he can turn and play that last pass, which will result potentially in a shot for them.
Man, that was out off an Ecuadorian player for a throw. Still about 3 minutes to go in the half. The other rosters full of players, presumably watching this right now in their hotels, spread out across the Doha area ahead of their first games at this World Cup in the coming days. Wide for Pedro Miguel, nowhere to go. Malawi looking long.
That's a great ball.
Ahmed has had Tem in the middle, overhit him though. Ciano for Plata. Felt the contact, goes down, it's a foul. 14th foul whistled in this first half. Felix Sanchez has got to find a solution. Qatar have only lost one game the last 3 years on home soil. That was against Algeria a year ago in the FIFA Arab Cup semifinal. That was the dress rehearsal tournament that was played here last December.
It doesn't bode well that you're down 2 goals to a team that has had 6 straight shutouts, 3rd best defense in CONMEBOL, one of the toughest regions to qualify for a World Cup from, with Brazil, Argentina, those types of teams. So this is a huge task that Qatar have in front of them. And it's going to be a bit of regroup at halftime. I would expect not a change in formation, but some change in personnel for Felix Sanchez. Maybe a bit more of an aggressive attacking approach, which will potentially open themselves up. But look, you're down 2-0 at halftime. And for them to come out in the second half and try to turn the game back in their favor, the first 5-10 minutes of that game, we'll see what that looks like.
Caicedo over the top. Preciado trying to run onto that one. Ahmed shepherding him. And that'll be a foul. How much does Valencia's status for the second half change things go? Does it make it harder for Ecuador to be as dangerous on the break without their leading scorer?
It's an interesting one because, as I said, they don't have a like-for-like replacement for him, but what they might do is tilt to a 4-3-3, which we've seen them do at times. They're playing more of a 4-4-2 with 2 strikers up front, and depending on his status, depending on how hard you want to push him, you could still stretch the game with a guy like Estrada and his speed to get in behind this Qatari defense. So I don't think it changes too much for this Ecuadorian team because right now not much is happening from the Qatari side. They're not getting pressure on the ball, and that's where they just have the freedom to pick their head up, play these long passes, running behind, move wingers all the way up the field. It's been a poor first half from Qatar.
Final 20 seconds of this half. Pedro Miguel spins it inside. Almoz Ali was making the run. Juan, it goes to Alhedos instead. His cross, Almoz Ali. That was the look.
Yeah.
That was the moment for Qatar with what would have been essentially the final touch of the half.
You're absolutely right. A guy that led 2 tournaments for them in goals. Their best striker. Not even a question. They finally get him behind Estupinian on that left-hand side. What a ball from Alhedos on a platter. And he just takes his head off it the last minute. He tries to glance it, just a slight touch, doesn't get enough good contact on it. He knows that was the missed opportunity, and so does Felix Sanchez. Wow.
Let's send you back to Tom Rinaldi in our studio on the Corniche. 45 minutes down, 45 to go in the opening match of the World Cup in Alcor. It is Ecuador 2, Qatar 0.
The 2022 FIFA World Cup halftime show on FS1 is presented by Verizon.
I'm Tom Rinaldi in for Rob Stone, who's struggling just a bit with his voice right now, so we're getting him some tea and some time. The 2022 World Cup off and running, and right now Ecuador spoiling.
World Cup. Curiosity with Ecuador as they come out is whether Ener Valencia will come out with them, as he was banged up towards the end of the half, but he is on the field for them. Chance to become the first player in World Cup history to score a hat trick in the opening match of a World Cup. We're just waiting for our officials right now, so it gives you time to give us a sense of what we should be looking for, particularly from Qatar.
Well, no personnel changes that we can see, as you said, and this is a team that is going to have to, as they did at the very first couple of minutes of the game, play very aggressively, try to get a hold of the ball. The biggest thing that was missing for Felix Sanchez's team, well, it was a lot of things. One was getting pressure on the ball, and Ecuador just having time and space to do what they want. The second was retaining possession and then creating attacking opportunities. So the very end of the half, they got that ball in from wide. Alheidos got wide, put it on Almoez Ali's head, and he missed. They need to get into those types of spots again in the second half to try to find a way through here.
No changes from either side. 3 Qataris on yellow cards, including the goalkeeper you saw, Saad Al-Sheeb, who just had a nightmare early on, misjudging crosses, gave away the penalty kick. Caicedo, he's one to keep an eye on. Just turned 21 years of age, one of the bright young stars for this bright young team of Ecuador. He's on a yellow card consistently amongst the players committing the most fouls of anyone in South American qualifying.
Well, straight away, what do you see here? You see some pressure from Qatar. Getting a bit of pressure on the ball. They're stepping their back line up, not sitting so deep within their own box. Now you've got Akram Afif coming out, pressuring Torres, pinning back Ecuador a little bit, and look what happens. They turn the ball over, and they've got potentially a chance now with the ball in the attacking part of the field, which is something you couldn't say so much in that first half.
Ahmed couldn't control it at first. Plata trying to help. So how did Ecuador weather this little storm? Poked away by Hatem. Akram Afif. Alheidos trying to reverse quickly to the Hatem and couldn't do so. Arawi holds it in. Trying to get the crowd, a late arriving crowd, coming back to their seats for second half kickoff into this one. 60,000 capacity stadium in the north of the country. Almoez Ali picks that one up off the touch from Plata. Afif in for Ali, intercepted by Hincapié. Only said his name so far. Important step from Arawi there. Alheidos knocked away by Mendez. Ibarra on the run. Arawi waiting for him. Ibarra into the middle for Ener Valencia. Rides the challenge, trying to poke it through. Second time he knocked it down. It was Ibarra making the run. And Al-Sheib out to get it. Foul there on Sebas Mendez. 4 years in MLS now. Had been with Orlando, came to LAFC mid-season. 2 of his teammates, presumably on opposite sides tomorrow. Kellen Acosta of the United States, Gareth Bale of Wales. Part of an MLS Cup winning team 2 weeks ago. Making Valencia to keep it for Qatar. Arawi looking long. Hamam Ahmed not going to get there as it tails away from him.
That's what they were looking for, though. Qatar, a bit of with Ahmed, who was wide open. They try to find him in the wide areas, or they find Pedro Miguel on the right-hand side, and then slashing, cutting across the box, looking for crosses. But it has been a better, more encouraging start to the second half. But we're only 4 minutes in. Can they sustain that with energy over the course of the second half and find a way through this stingy back line for Ecuador?
Valencia won that ball in the air. Estrada battling for the second one, and it's going to be cleaned up there. Good work by Kuki to recover. He lost that first header. He was able to sweep it back to his goalkeeper. Was Ali was controlling that when he was trying to play into space, and Akrama
heads in the hands.
Frustrated body language.
Felix Sanchez once again, because the patterns of play in which they work so hard on, they've actually had some moments where it's opened up the way they'd want, and just the execution has been missing. I mean, that's a simple outside of the boot, around the corner type pass from Almoez Ali that 9 times out of 10, 90 out of 100, he would execute and then plays it straight to a yellow shirt. And that's been the story so far for Qatar.
We saw the 6 consecutive shutouts for Ecuador. That is an all-time team record. That is every game they've played since the end of World Cup qualifying in March. They'd only scored twice in any of those 6 games, one of them a penalty, so they've matched that in the first half here tonight. Estrada dances his way through that and get it away for Ibarra. Mario Ibarra running in, hands it off, and intercepted crucially by Hassan. Stupinian just prevents the breakout. Hassan wants to go quick. There's a ball there that we had to get rid of. Afif hands it off for Alhedos, the captain, the all-time leading appearance maker for Qatar. This is a well-drilled team that's been preparing for this moment for more than a decade. Can they find a way back? Estrada took it down for Ecuador. Ibarra hands it off for Stupinian. Stupinian's return too far. I think he read that well to slide across.
And it gives it right back.
Celas Mendez. Preciado fires it in.
Shot, yeah. And frustration from Enter Valencia, who was open in the box, was looking for that when he peeled off to the back post, tried to evade his man, and Preciado getting a bit greedy there, going for the shot and not returning the favor, which he did already in the first half, which was that connection for the goal. Preciado to the head of Enter Valencia.
Full slate of matches tomorrow across our networks. The first full day of World Cup games. England-Iran get us started on FS1 at 7 a.m. Eastern. Then on Fox, the other game from this group, Senegal versus the Netherlands, followed by the United States against Wales. Coverage starting tomorrow, 7 a.m. Eastern, 4 a.m. Pacific. Mendez went flying through that one. And you do wonder, if you're Senegal and the Netherlands, what you're thinking about this as an offside flag comes up. And the big question was Senegal with Sadio Mane's injury, but Ecuador through 45 minutes, they came to play.
Ecuador are a good team, and we can talk about youth. They're the youngest team to qualify from CONMEBOL. They are the third youngest team here at this tournament, but this is a talented team, very individually talented, and it's putting together, and you can see right now, they have a nice mix of young but athletic, physical, and technical players. None more so than this guy right here, Gonzalo Plata, 1v1.
Now fires it in, and that was in between Estrada and Valencia, and just tremendous work though by Plata in that sequence.
And I was about to finish it with, then you have 2 guys up front that can consistently put the ball in the back of the net. Plata does so well here. 1, 2, 3, dancing pass, just able to balance and get by, good close control as well, and then picks his head up at the end of this and delivers a great ball across that Estrada ends up whiffing. Could have gone ground there with a foul, but sensed that they had an attacking opportunity and continue to play. And at the end of that, we've got a player shaken up for Qatar. It's Al-Rawi.
Sam Al-Rawi, born in Iraq. His father played for Iraq in the 1980s. He was raised, though, here in Qatar. It was the best 11 of their greatest triumph to date, the 2019 Asian Cup. The core of the team that has stayed together ever since, and he'll carry on for now. Here's Al-Rawi under pressure from Valencia. To get some help from Alhedos.
There's a pressure too now from Ecuador, and one of the things we talked about at the start of this game, John, was that, look, there was a terrific atmosphere around the stadium, in the city of Doha, inside the stadium before the game. And I said it was a two-way street. Why? Well, you need to give the fans something to cheer about as well. And I think you're seeing and feeling that inside this building right now. Just that disappointment from how the first half went, not really having something to cheer about and continue to back their team. And that's become a problem because as a player, sometimes you feed off of that energy even when things aren't going well. But there's a nervousness to this and a recognition.
Here they come for more. It's Ibarra, pushed away by Al-Sheep. Cleared away by Ramon Pablano. It's his first save of the game. Already 2 goals past him, 3 if you include the offside decision. Valencia gets a throw out of it. Mario Ibarra knows he had a great chance there.
What a great through ball in behind. He timed his run, so finally gets a save on the board. It was a comfortable one, but one that he needed to make.
Seattle long throw sent back out by Kuki. Seattle couldn't hold it in. Afif almost gave it away. Valencia throwing another tackle in there. Afif then goes down. It's Sebas Mendez who gets a yellow, but Akram Afif is down. 2019 Asian Player of the Year off the back of the Asian Cup triumph.
Well, it's a great first touch from Afif because he's changing his point of direction so quickly. And oh, that is raises down. I mean, that's a high threshold yellow card there. That's rising
orange.
Close. Yeah, that's an orange card, close to a red. I think a little bit more degree. And just wow, that's a close one because he goes right above the ankle.
Checks in at Sebastian Mendez, known as Sebas.
And now you have both center mids for Ecuador on yellow cards.
And the normal starter, Gruezo, unsure of the severity of his injury he suffered a week ago. Hassan goes long. Zali was trying to take that with him, or I think that was Pedro Miguel up there. Afif moving around a little bit gingerly in the middle of the field right now. Rawi, who was down a moment ago, able to at least keep it away from Valencia. Full of Ecuadorian players who've been up getting loose. Only now are we seeing Qatar players get loose. They don't really have a ton of impact subs. It's a pretty regular lineup. It's not one that they change often by going to their bench. They're trying to pressure right now. It's going to end as a foul as Plata goes down. Abdulaziz Hatem committing that foul. Yeah, under a little bit of pressure. Caicedo gets rid of it quickly.
Great one-touch passing right now from Ecuador. You can see, again, the way in which they build up. They start the play with 3 deep. They spread their fullbacks into wingers. They move further up the field to create pressure and force Qatar back. And the way in which they're able to possess the ball and how comfortable all of their players are technically on the ball with the ball at their feet, it makes it difficult to get pressure on a team like that. I mean, look how just each player, when the ball's fizzed in, you have pressure around you, one touch to the right, then out of space, bounce into another guy, 2 touches, out the other side of the field now, and now they go direct. That pass is overhit, but Qatar physically just can't hang with this Ecuadorian team and get pressure on the ball before they're demoralized and suck all of their energy out. And by that time, Ecuador had been carving them open. So it's been a very one-sided game. little spells here and there for this Qatari team, but ultimately have struggled just to create anything offensively as well.
Abdulaziz Hatem. Now read there by Preciado as he was trying to roll it in for Homam Ahmed.
Preciado down after stretching for that one to try to make the interception, which he did.
And this is an interesting position because
it sure is.
Preciado split the time of World Cup qualifying with a player named Byron Castillo. Perhaps you read about it. That was the player that caused multiple nations, Chile and Peru, to appeal to FIFA saying Ecuador should have been kicked out of the tournament because it turned out that Castillo was in fact born in Colombia. And FIFA and the Court of Arbitration for Sport both agreeing that falsified information was used to give him a passport to allow him to play for Ecuador, but it didn't violate FIFA rules, so they were not punished by being kicked out of the World Cup.
And Castillo was ultimately not included in their final roster. I think is a bit of, we
not tempting fate, yes. I think is what you would call that.
And it might become significant because certainly that was a player that was starting in this position, splitting time with Preciado. Preciado right now picked up some kind of knock and extending for that pass, which means in theory you're down to potentially your third choice right back.
Who is Javier Arriaga of the Seattle Sounders. That's who
and
you
who
saw
is naturally a center back as well.
So Gustavo Alfaro nominally in a comfortable position, 2-0 up in the second half, 30 minutes to go, but he's trying to manage this one right now.
Yeah, I mean, let's think about it. A little bit of a knock to one of their center forwards, 2 center midfielders on yellow cards, a 2-0 lead.
Hassan lifting that one up. Alhedo's waiting for it. Late run and the header flashing just wide. Pedro Miguel, sort of like Valencia's goal. He just flashed in there right to the end.
And he came a long way, too, from that right-hand side. We've seen this quite a bit. This long left-footed diagonal pass from Hassan stands this one up. It's in a better spot, and it's Miguel. You think initially it's going to be Alhedo's, and he leaves it. He can't get to it. Gets there in front of Estupiñán as well, and almost picks out Almoez Ali at the end of that one. But when Qatar are having success, Pedro Miguel is very involved in the game from that right side and playing further up the field because it means that they have some possession and he can release from deeper defensively to join into the attack and start to give them an advantage in numbers.
Valencia steps in to win the second ball, cleaned up by Ahmed. It was Estrada doing the hard work on that first one that came in. Hassan wanted to go long, just didn't have any options. Still plenty of time. I mean, you get that one goal if you're Qatar. This place comes to life. Shifts the dynamic quite a bit. To avoid being the first host nation ever to lose their opening match at a FIFA Men's World Cup. Tem going long. Miguel and Almoez Ali almost collide. Flag comes up for offside. Almoez Ali should have left it alone.
Yeah, it was Almoez Ali who made the initial run. He looks over to the assistant referee saying, me? Is that on me? Look, he makes that initial run in behind, tries to stretch the line a little bit, and then he comes back to try to challenge for it when instead he should have just left it for Pedro Miguel.
Able to steer that back to Al-Sheep. Hassan errant on the pass. Still Hernan Galindez, age of 35 in his World Cup debut and goal for Ecuador, has yet. Opening World Cup match tomorrow on Fox. Coverage starts at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. You assume the U.S. players are watching this in their hotel. We were at their hotel yesterday, chatting with Greg Berhalter. Tyler Adams named captain earlier today. That was in a vote by the players. Coaching staff let the players have total control of that one. And Tyler Adams will have the honor of wearing the captain's armband tomorrow as the U.S. men make their return to the World Cup. You were part of that 2010, sitting in your hotel, watching other teams on the field, thinking about getting on the field yourself.
I was absolutely not sitting. It's that type of feeling that you can't sit down. The nerves, the energy, the excitement, the butterflies. And for many of these guys, you talked about that being my first World Cup. Well, 25 to 26, this will be their first World Cup against a Welsh team that hasn't been in a World Cup in over 50 years. So a lot at stake in this game. You're going to have inexperience from a U.S. side. You're going to have a young team, but I think one that I think will embrace that moment up against the Welsh team that has been at the Euros. But this will be their first World Cup, as we said, in a long time. And much like those players, we can't wait to get there either and kick that first ball off and see the United States back in a World Cup for the first time in 8 years.
It'll be a 10 p.m. local time kickoff. So a long day for everyone just waiting for that to get going. What a joy and a privilege it will be for us to be there. We are so looking forward to it. So 25 minutes to go here at Al Bayt Stadium in Al Khor, the northernmost stadium here in Qatar, this World Cup. Can the hosts find a way back right now? Abdulaziz Hatem able to open it up for Abdelkarim Hassan, clipping that one in. Amos Ali was open in space. It was overhit. Pedro Miguel holds it on the far side. Yabar defending, blocks the cross. Trying to reset for Akram Afif. That's Caicedo tracking back. It'll be a throw for Qatar.
Well, a bit of possession here, and what's been working is they've been winning the second balls, as we're going to see a sub now for Ecuador. Sarmiento.
Coming on in a moment. So Sarmiento will make it all three Brighton players for the Premier League seeing the field for Ecuador. I don't know if they'll be on the field together. Depends on who he replaces. As that one's whistled for a foul.
They must have a pretty prominent scout in Ecuador, Brighton, Open Albion. I would say it's worked out pretty well for them. Between Caicedo, his impact, Estupiñán, his career throughout Europe, and now in the Premier League. Brighton, and here comes the sub.
So it'll be Romario Ibarra, the former Minnesota United player who makes way. Sarmiento, born in Spain to Ecuadorian parents, grew up in England, was actually an England youth national team player before switching to Ecuador last year, and he will now make his World Cup debut for Ecuador. Incidentally, he was a part of the same England under-17 national team at one point as Yunus Musa, who we hope to see on the field for the U.S. tomorrow.
I think part of this reason for this sub as well is you get another player in that can maintain possession, but you want to keep fresh energy in the wide areas to deal now with the fact that Qatar are getting Pedro Miguel further into the attack on the right. So you need an extra man defensively that can continue to do that, that can possess the ball, that can keep the tempo as well, and making that change now for Ecuador just to give them some fresh energy in this match.
Two subs in the wings for Qatar. Mohamed Muntari, he's their most frequent, certainly attacking sub to come on as a forward. Mohamed Wad will be coming on as well. Caicedo, Plata, Estrada. A little touch there by Plata. Estrada holds it up. Lays it off for Preciado. The return, long run to get there for Plata. Able to do so and keep it in play. Estrada tangled up. No foul on that one. Ecuadorian players warming up on the near side. Can't believe there wasn't a whistle. Valencia, still a chance to become the first player ever to score a hat-trick in the opening match of a World Cup. 2 first-half goals for him. Plata on the run. Valencia behind him. Ali just helpless right now. Trying at the end of something. Had that header missed right at the end of the first half that really would have changed things. Here's Alheidos, the captain, in the pocket of space. Hands it off for Budiaf. On it comes for Homam Ahmed. Off once more, in for Alhedos, immediately met by Sarmiento just on the field. Stupinian now. Estrada making the run. And instead the foul there as Caicedo goes down. Qatar will wait on the substitutions as again an attacking set piece chance for Ecuador. To go in the opening match of the World Cup.
Chance of Si Se Puede. As we can, behind the goal right now. They're looking for that third one.
And Ecuador slammed the door shut on the hosts on opening night. Stupinian lifting that one in. A chance to get back to it for Torres there. Couldn't quite get there in time. They have the Preciado long throw they can go to first, though, the substitutions. And the captain's night is done. Alhedos' number 10 is up. And who talked about bearing the responsibility of all Arabs to play well at this World Cup. And he makes way with 19 minutes still to go for Mohamed Wad. And Almoez Ali, their second all-time leading scorer, had that wonderful chance right at the end of the half that he missed. Frustratedly goes to the bench, replaced by Mohamed Muntari. Now Preciado, the long throw in. Assad first there, only as far as the Stupinian. Sarmiento. Running Pedro Miguel. Able to cut him off. Was that a tangle of legs? It was, and a free kick coming.
Well, the tricks and flicks were out from Sarmiento trying to get Pedro Miguel off balance. Pedro Miguel does a good job initially, moving his feet, not biting, but then there's the lunge. And it wasn't even really a lunge as much as it might have been an unfortunate kick, but he kicks the back of his leg, and Sarmiento feels the contact, knows the part of the field in which he's in, that it's a dangerous spot if they have a free kick. So, of course, he wins the free kick, the referee gives it, and now it's Stupinian to deliver with that left foot once again. And to put some pressure on a guy, Al-Sheeb, who has not been good and looked comfortable on crosses throughout this game. Enter Valencia right in the middle of your screen around the penalty spot. He's trying to start in an offside position just to try to make you second guess as a defender, to think you have to drop. As soon as that ball's about to be delivered, he's going to jump back onside and then try to beat goal side to get in front of you to finish off the play. It's about timing, though, if you can do that well.
Stupinian hooks it in, and Muntari was there just in front of Caicedo. He's just on the field. Muntari steps in with that challenge. Big shouts from players on both sides. It's out for a throw. It was interesting. During the subs, Preciado went to the bench. He was talking with Ecuador coach Gustavo Alfaro, had some sort of a message he delivered to Michael Estrada. Just has not had much to do. Playing that ball long. Estrada, can he win it back? No, it's going to be out as Pedro Miguel napping there. That face tells the story.
It's the first time you and Felix Sanchez have been sitting in the same room together, so.
We were in the gym together in Austin during the Gold Cup. What are you talking about? I mean, that's part of the story.
Confirmed that there are two of you, so.
Ahmed comes away. Listen, these guys were great to watch at the Gold Cup. They got to the semifinal. They narrowly lost to the U.S. They've gone to the Copa America. They played South American opposition. They played European opposition a year ago, basically taking up a spot in the World Cup qualifying group. This is a battle-tested team. As that cross comes in, they haven't played against anyone. Islam Ahmed brings it down on the other side. Gets it back from Juan. Kept himself onside. Akram Afif over the bar.
Oh, you knew he was shooting as soon as that one came back to him, because he's just had so few looks and touches in and around the goal. So when you finally get that one, I mean, that's about a 4-step run-up that he's taken to try to just hammer that with power. Doesn't get over the top of it and get the knuckle to stay under the crossbar. It's been a frustrating afternoon for him, for Almoez Ali, who is off the field. And speaking of the stars in this game, the guy with 2 goals who has had a couple of chances in front of goal, Enter Valencia maybe not able to shake off that knock that he had in the first game. And another LAFC man, Jose Cifuentes, right there, getting a talking to from his coach. Maybe we're going to see him replace Enter Valencia. It certainly seems that way. He's taking off his warm-up bib now.
So Valencia, in one sense, scored 3 times in the first half. One of them was chalked off for sort of a unique offside decision. It's 2 goals, the penalty, this header on the cross from Preciado.
Just look at the concentration there, John, as it comes across. And sometimes it's difficult when you have a guy, a teammate in front of you that goes up for the header, and then you have to react and also anticipate if he's going to miss it and then be able to react so quickly. He was focused the whole way, and then just a excellent finish, glancing it with the right amount of power and precision inside the corner of the goal, into the back of the net, and a World Cup debut now for Cifuentes.
Here comes Sifu, Jose Cifuentes. What a year he's had, what a couple of years he's had for LAFC, part of the 8th MLS team in league history. Won both MLS Cup and the Supporters Shield, career high goals and assists for him in his 3rd season. Just his 12th international appearance at the age of 23. Great to see him on the field at this World Cup. That'll be a huge storyline for Ecuador over the next few days ahead of their game against the Netherlands Friday. The severity of the injury, or whatever you want to call it, to Enter Valencia, his status for that game, but he is the star of this World Cup so far. As Hassan pressured and fouled by Cifuentes. Taken quickly in an awkward moment off the ball there. Akram Afif.
Yeah, they tried to play quickly. Akram Afif had taken a touch, and Plata was alert to it. He wasn't sleeping at all and was straight in there to pressure and wins the ball back off a heavy touch. And then it's Akram Afif over the top of the ball onto the foot of Plata. Certainly a yellow card. Any higher up his shin, you would be verging on the thought of red, but that is a yellow card.
That face tells the story of one of their most important players. Boy, it's a Qatar team that now is going to run the gauntlet of Senegal and the Netherlands, and 4 players, if they're booked against Senegal, they don't get to play against the Netherlands for yellow card accumulation suspension. 2 of them, they're up 2 up front, Almoez Ali and Akram Afif. Soon free kick from Caicedo. Up in the air. Marawi wins the second ball. It's an important touch by Cifuentes there to prevent Akram Afif from getting out on the break. To circle back to given what we saw from Qatar last year, how surprised are you by what you've seen for them tonight?
Not so surprised. I think when you consider what they were able to do in the Gold Cup and ride a bit of momentum, but that's weaker opposition than a World Cup.
Sarmiento lays a touch off. That'll be an interesting offside decision if it comes back. And Sarmiento misses the target anyway. Flag does come up at the end of the play, so it wouldn't have counted.
Well, they get the look that they're looking as well. Just the release on that left-hand side from Estupinian, and I think it was the run of Sarmiento that was offside. I think Estupinian was onside, but it's Sarmiento who ends up hitting him first. And that's where the offside ends up coming in before then it comes back to him on the layoff. And he puts the ball up over the crossbar. So, I mean, getting back to it, John, a Gold Cup, an Asian Cup, it's not the same as being in a World Cup. And then when you get every team's best, they beat Ecuador in a friendly. When you're playing Ecuador in a World Cup, you're getting their absolute best and a fully healthy, fully talented squad out there. they don't seem individually that they can match that level, and that means on a day like today, they have to be absolutely perfect in what they've done. And they've had a couple mistakes defensively. It doesn't help when you don't get a good performance from your goalkeeper as well as part of that. And so I don't think they're a terrible team, but they don't have enough quality that will carry them through if they make the mistakes that they had in this type of game. So it's going to be an uphill task thinking about now, well, okay, you've got the Netherlands and Senegal. Senegal up next for them.
Plata, Jose Cifuentes trying to get it away. Alrawi got a key block. Stupinian picks it up. I wish Ecuador love to get a third and really send a message out as they make their return to the World Cup. Cifuentes rolls it in. Al-Sheeb is there in time in front of Plata, and then they collide.
Well, it's a good-looking run from Plata. These slashing runs in behind. Nice take inside. Movement off the center backs as well to get into space. And he'd gone down early and then is trying to pull out of that one as Al-Sheeb comes running out of his goal, sliding into him. There's contact, but no foul in the end. Well, foul, but no card.
Tomorrow it's the return of World Cup tonight. All the day's highlight special guests and World Cup fun with Kate Apto, Moadu, and America's #1 World Cup fan. How much fun is it to have Chad Ochocinco with us here in Qatar? It's at midnight, starting tomorrow, live on Fox. Just some wonderful memeable stuff there the last 10-15 seconds. As the long throw comes in, it's headed across, it's Preciado to bring it down. Rolled wide, Mendez can't quite turn the corner. And Mendez is chopped down as he released the pass.
Mendez has had a really good game for Ecuador in the middle of the field. Some of the stuff he's done defensively, getting back, plugging holes, filling gaps, keeping the play moving as part of the build-up as well. And then now in the attacking part of the field, little one touch, that one over the shoulder, just beats Wad to it. And he's had a good game, really good game alongside Caicedo. That's been the heartbeat of their team in the middle of the field.
A little of a surprise starter ahead of Carlos Gruezo, the consistent veteran starter in that role. Gonzalo Plata to take the ensuing free kick. And swinging ball all the way through. And a foul in there anyway. You feel for Qatar. The conversations we've had from Qataris, listen, there was a realism to it. No one thought they were going to show up and win this World Cup. But you see under Valencia and the ice pack on the right knee. A lot of what we heard was just a sense of just have a good performance, show well. One of the comments that Felix Sanchez and Hassan Al-Haydas both made was this notion of it's Qatar's first ever World Cup. They didn't qualify. They're in because they're the host. It's the first time since 1934 that a team makes their World Cup debut by being host and not by qualifying. And they were trying to say, listen, we could have qualified. We're good enough. We have the quality. So this is a hugely, hugely disappointing performance on opening night, as evidenced by the fact that, I mean, a lot of these fans didn't come back out for the second half. There's a lot of empty seats here right now.
And the thing you heard as well was, don't be South Africa. Don't be the one of...
They got a draw in their opener.
Yeah,
Mexico.
well, they didn't get out of their group, though, and as the host nation, and that was of 21 of 22 in which half. It felt like this was, I don't think too many people picked Qatar to get out of their group, knowing it's a difficult group. When you think about, look, okay, Sadio Mane is not with Senegal. The Netherlands are back in the World Cup again. They have a good, strong team. This Ecuadorian team is, if you're not familiar with CONMEBOL as much, it's not a sneaky good team. It's a very good team as well, and it was going to be tough. But this is the first match that they felt if they were going to do it, they had to show well in this game. So it'll be interesting to see what the spirits of the fans are, and then also what this team are now thinking about that second game, and how do you turn it around against Senegal?
And you see the note there. World Cup history tells us teams that win their opening match almost always advance. Teams that lose their opening match almost always go out. That's the same conversation we're going to have tomorrow with the U.S. and Wales and a bunch of other teams here. The significance of these opening matches. And as you said, only once in history has a host nation failed to get out of their group. That was South Africa. U.S. in '94 had to come from behind, but they got the draw in their first game with Switzerland.
Look out here. They got space and numbers.
Sarmiento. That's too far for Estrada. Well, he's going to get there anyways. Sheep backed off. He runs out of space. It's out of play.
Well, that was a golden chance to find that third and just put an exclamation point on this one. But Sarmiento's gotten in some good spots. It was just that weight of the pass was too much. Didn't allow him to get to that one. Estrada was still scrambling for it, but as you mentioned, again, Sheep coming off his line and seemed unsure. That might be a question for Qatar. Does he start the second game in goal?
There's Muntari, the end of a long ball, takes it himself, and it ends up on the roof of the net, and a lot of the fans here at Al-Bayt Stadium thought that was in.
Well, Galindez plays this about as cool as you can as a goalkeeper, assuming that it was over. I'm not so sure. This ball was dipping as Muntari gets on the end of it. He takes it first time, and I think he catches Galindez off guard here. So I was just going that one, keeper. Yeah, I know that one's cool. But it was just a direct pass over the top of Hincapié. He catches Galindez off guard, and he's not fully set here as this one comes in, and just a little more dip. And that's under the crossbar, and Qatar get their first goal. And really, outside of the Almoez Ali chance, that was the best chance they've had in this game.
Still yet to register a shot on target and force a save out of Hernan Galindez. And the Ecuador goal, Arawi. Long switch. 4 minutes plus stoppage time. Weirder things have happened. Homam Ahmed looking for Muntari. Late run from Miguel. It'll find Akram Afif. His cross popped up in the air. Galindez. Good, comfortable catch in traffic. So Ecuador just continuing a South American tradition, it would seem, tonight. More activity on the Ecuador bench. In the final few minutes here, Sarmiento, great little turn. Hands it off for Plata, who returns it. Sarmiento, knocked up in the air. Sheep. Ball spun out. That'll be a corner. That ball went out of play in the air. Just the second corner kick of the entire game coming.
They're jamming numbers right in front of Al Sheep. They're just going to try and drop it right on top of it.
Plata in. Marawi out. 2 minutes plus stoppage time to go. What a night for Ecuador. They've gone out of the World Cup group stage twice in their prior 3 editions. They always won a game. They replicate 2006, the one time they got to the knockout stage. Plata outdueled by Homam Ahmed. Gets a bit of a screen from Akram Afif to get away. He's all by his lonesome, though. And substitutions for the final moments here. Alan Franco began this year with Charlotte FC. Kevin Rodriguez, who just made his debut a week ago against Iraq, and was the last man added to their World Cup roster. He's going to make his World Cup debut Michael Estrada is with DC United for part of this season. He will make way. Moses Caicedo took that early yellow card just shy of a half hour and able to navigate his way through the rest of this one without getting a second. Interesting to see what Senegal and the Netherlands do tomorrow. Whether Ecuador top the group at the end of one round of matches in Group A. 5 added minutes still to go here at Al Bayt Stadium in Al Khor. Same stadium where the U.S. will play England on Black Friday. You ready for tomorrow?
I am. I hope the United States are.
All the way across to Hulam Ahmed. Under control. Ahmed Wad. Preciado making his life difficult. As was Plata. Wad stepping in late there at Cifuentes to poke it away. 4 minutes of stoppage time still to go. Hatem. Akram Afif. Able to keep it, can't go anywhere. Finally poked away by Rodriguez. Sarmiento.
Man, I mean, just going back to that, John, and it's so nice to think about the fact that the United States are back in a World Cup. And our experience 4 years ago in Russia and doing that World Cup and all the great games that we got to go to and experience, and now thinking about, I'm going to call United States versus Wales tomorrow and seeing the U.S. kicking that game off, and can't wait to get it going.
Triple header coming up tomorrow. England, Iran will get Group B underway. The other game from Group A, Senegal and the Netherlands. Before the nightcap, the United States making their return to the World Cup. As you rightly said, a Wales team hadn't been in the World Cup since 1958, so it sort of evens out the notion of World Cup experience across the two rosters, as that one's misplayed. 2.5 minutes to go. Frustrated Felix Sanchez and a frustrated nation of Qatar. Well, the wind taken out of their sails by that would-be third-minute goal. Came off. First use of semi-automated offside at the FIFA World Cup. New assistant refereeing saying no goal. Enter Valencia penalty in the 16th minute. 15 minutes after that, got his second, heading it across. From Angelo Preciado. Big ice pack on his knee on the bench, but a smile on his face. And a frustrated drive back down south to Doha for so many of these fans. And this wonderful occasion, this hugely significant day, and never mind sporting history, just Qatari national history. Ahmed's not going to get on the end of that one. They got to regroup and turn it around for Friday's game against Senegal. It's under Valencia and Ecuador, who will get the world's headlines on the opening day of the World Cup. Is there a third coming at the end of it? Stupinian hands it off. Plata clips it up. It was blocked and man down immediately. Sam Al-Rawi trying to get to his feet.
Well, it's Plata with the ball in, and oh yeah, takes it right to the face. Sam Al-Rawi is up now, making his way over. We'll get one more set piece potentially here for Ecuador with the last minute of play. Can they slam it home and get that third?
Goal differential, that's your first tiebreaker.
Absolutely, when you think about Netherlands and Senegal.
Swinging ball, knocked down, and comes all the way out. And these Ecuadorian fans, we saw them here early. We were here early today, and we saw a lot of Ecuadorian fans out here early. They're the only ones left. They're going to party tonight, and the party really gets going tomorrow. Coverage beginning with England-Iran on FS1, 7 a.m. Eastern, 4 a.m. Pacific, before the scene will shift to Fox for Netherlands, Senegal, and the United States against Wales.
I'll get one more corner maybe for Qatar here. Bring everybody up.
It's the first corner they've had the entire game. It should be the final chance of the game. Well, the Fief in. Header sent out, and that'll do it. Qatar's night, but Ecuador's victory. Enter Valencia, adding to his record goal-scoring haul in his nation's history. And we will see you starting tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern, 4 a.m. Pacific on FS1 for day 2 of this 2022 FIFA World Cup. For Stu Holden, Jenny Taft, and our entire crew down in the Corniche, I'm John Strong saying goodbye as the opening match of the FIFA World Cup finishes here in Alcor. Ecuador 2, Qatar 0.
Good morning, America. Rise and shine. All across the country, we're getting up early this year with one thing on our mind.
Football!
It's soccer.
Whether you're repping